Have you faced a situation before where you felt that your emotions have overtaken the way you communicated and had a negative impact compared to what you expected? So, hi everybody, welcome to another video of mine, and I'm going to show you how to handle this situation because it's a classic challenge which a lot of people face. So, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get continuous access to all my videos. Make sure that at the end of this video you hit the like button. Make sure you comment and you ask me questions, share your challenges, and make sure you share this with as many entrepreneurs as possible because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will be facing the exact same situation. So let's talk about this. Emotions. Some people tell me, how can I make sure that my emotions don't come in the way of my communication? And I'm going to be honest with you, that's impossible. I mean, how can you be devoid of emotions? You're a human being. What makes you human is the ability to emote. The problem is not that you have emotions. The problem is that you're not able to use your emotions to express yourself to achieve a certain outcome. Your emotions get the better of you, and that becomes the context of how you communicate, rather than that being aware of your emotions and using your emotions to communicate in the right way. There's a big difference between these two situations, and I'm going to share a scenario which I faced with one of our clients whom I was coaching, and how he dealt with it so that you can do it in the same way. So this person's name was Akash. All right, and Akash was basically in the IT business, and very, that startup mode kind of business, growing business, getting a lot of opportunity, and was hiring really fast. But as a result of hiring fast, obviously he had to put in a lot of effort, put in a lot of attention to developing his team, so he has the right kind of culture. So what happened was that he was faced with a situation where two of his managers, typically his sales and marketing head and his delivery head, these two people got into a huge conflict, and as a result of that, it created a lot of politics and chaos. And Akash landed up spending a lot of time trying to play mediator in between between these two people to try to resolve this conflict. All right, and this was really stressing him out. And what he started noticing was that his sales head, all right, this sales head was actually the one playing a lot of politics because he wanted to be the upper hand. He wanted to play one up with the delivery head and would constantly find issues and problems in the delivery head to point a finger at that person, to blame that person, and as a result of which he would try to communicate how he was a better second line compared to the delivery head for Akash in the first place. And Akash started noticing this. And after he had multiple conversations with me, my solution to him was obviously that you got to call this behavior out and you got to hold the person accountable. Little did I know that Akash, instead of holding the person accountable, would just go and blast his delivery head. All right. So you know what he does? He gets so angry and gets so violent, and he starts saying that because of you, my entire culture is messed. Because of you, even though we have so much opportunity, we are sitting in a situation where we are not able to deliver. You guys are kids. You guys are immature. You guys are constantly fighting. God knows for what, because of your stupid pride. I'm sick and tired of you guys, and if you still continue the same way, get out. And the next day, the sales head put in his papers and resigned. And when Akash called me back, he told me, you know what, I held him accountable, but he resigned. I'm like, what nonsense? Tell me what you did. And he narrated exactly like how I, in brief, narrated to you. And I told him, you know what, Akash, this is not called accountability. This is blame, first of all. And when you're blaming the person, you just got angry, you just got irritated, like because you are the so-called boss. Obviously, anybody would be offended because the sales head was not an ordinary person. He came with more than 20 plus years of experience. He was more than 45 years of age. Akash was much younger than him because he was a new age entrepreneur, and he did get insulted. He felt offended. Yes, he may be wrong. There's no two ways about it, but that's not the way to handle it. So let me tell you, which is what I told Akash, that if I was in Akash's place, how would I handle it? I would use a template, because at the end of the day, the sales head, let's call this sales head Ravi, okay, just to give him a name. So obviously Ravi needs to be held accountable. Ravi needs to know that he is causing a lot of politics, and Ravi needs to take responsibility for his behavior. But if Akash blaming Ravi was the solution, then obviously Ravi wouldn't have quit. So that wasn't the way to go about doing it. Do you need to communicate to Ravi does Akash need to communicate to Ravi how he's feeling? Of course. If Akash is feeling angry, Ravi needs to know he's feeling angry. But that has to be communicated without dumping that anger on Ravi. So step number one in this situation, is to always set the context. When I'm talking about setting the context, it's to let the other person know the background behind this conversation. So I'll role play it for you guys. Akash to Ravi. Let's just say I'm Akash and Ravi is in front of me. So I would say, Ravi, you know what? I've been seeing a lot of situations happening between you and the delivery head, and the entire reason of why I'm communicating with you right now is to keep all this in mind. And I want to address this conflict and this political environment which has been created between the both of you, which is severely impacting the team. That's what I mean by setting the context. It's setting the floor. It's creating the foundation for you to communicate. All right. And then while you're setting the context, you also need to specify what is the consequence of this entire situation. All right. And that's the second step. Specify the consequence. So Akash would tell Ravi, so as a result of all of this, it's causing a lot of chaos in the organization. People are demotivated. People do not know whom to look forward to, and our attrition rate is going to get really high because people are not going to have a high energy environment. And more than anything else, our clients are going to be upset because at the end of the day, we're not delivering on the result we want. So if you notice what I just shared with you, I set the context by explaining the situation, and I also communicate the consequence of the situation so that it gives, in this situation, Ravi the importance and the criticality of this entire situation so that he can take Akash a lot more seriously. That's really what I mean by setting the context, because now Ravi is listening to Akash. Ravi understands why this is important, and it's not coming from a space of ego, it's not coming from a space of blame, it's coming from a space of responsibility towards Ravi, right? And then it's also important for Akash to communicate how he's feeling in this situation so that Ravi understands how it's impacting him. So Akash would say, so Ravi, with all this being said, I'll tell you what I'm feeling. I'm frustrated, I'm feeling very angry, and I'm also feeling very helpless because I really do not expect the both of you to behave the way you are, keeping in mind the kind of experience and the kind of expertise you guys come with. So that's the way you communicate it. You don't communicate anger by showing anger. You communicate that you are feeling angry about it so that the person understands the importance. This is how you ensure that the person understands where you're coming from. And then what you need to do is to also acknowledge the gravity of the situation, saying that if this is not dealt with, what would happen? So step 1 was to set the context. Step 2 was to clarify the consequence of the situation or the context. And step 3 was to share how you're feeling. And then step 4 is to then share what would happen if this doesn't change. So Akash tells Ravi that, if this doesn't change, in all likelihood, it's going to lead to one of you obviously moving out of the organization or one of you being let gone of or fired, and that's not the future I want. At the end of the day, this is important for all of us to solve because we've built this together. So in this way, Akash has communicated to Ravi why it is important for him to change. So Ravi is able to see the difference between before and after. Yeah. In all this conversation, Akash has communicated the gravity of the situation and communicated how's he feeling about it. So Ravi understands the importance. Now obviously Ravi will share his perspective, he will share his complaint, he will share his concerns, and at that point in time Akash needs to resolve it or give him feedback. But the emotion has been communicated. And then obviously after that all the other steps would succeed, wherein you tell Ravi what needs to be done, you specify what needs to be done differently, etc., etc. So it becomes a conversation. But to summarize, a very, very effective way of communicating your emotions to someone: set the context, clarify the consequence of that context, then share what emotion you're feeling and how is it impacting you, and share the consequence of what would happen if this is not dealt with. So the other person gives the right kind of importance, looks at it with the right kind of responsibility, and sees what is their part to play with it. It's a lot more methodical, a lot more controlled, and a lot more effective way of communicating your emotions. So this is what I think you should do also with anybody. As a matter of fact, it's easy to dump your emotions on the other person when the other person is not prepared. You're also human, so it's going to happen, so be okay with it. But sometimes when you really need to let the other person understand the emotion, the key word over here is understanding. You got to say it in this manner. This is not a formula, it's not a magic wand that every time you do this the other person will respond the way you want them, because we're talking about communication here, which is always imperfect. But this technique definitely helps you to make it a lot more effective. So make sure you practice this and make sure you implement it, because I'm pretty sure this is going to help you to be a lot more in control. So if you like what I shared, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, like this video, share your challenges, share your questions. I'm more than happy to give you my insights, and share this with as many people as possible, because I'm dead sure this would help. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to see you in my next video.